I want to share with you the emotional component to the things that you're putting in your body. So this particular recipe for hot chocolate, the specific ingredients, each ingredient in there was chosen to nourish your heart. To help you, we're adapting this one a little bit to be something that supports you with not only confidence, but in addition helps to support the heart. So when you're going through a transition and when you're someone who is, again, accomplishing your self-mastery and looking at wanting to go through your challenges in life and be a stronger person as a result of that, then what we want to do is we want to be able to give you things that help to heal the heart through that process and have you have the strength that you know you have inside of you to make it through. So, okay, so y'all ready? I'm so excited about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the ingredients with you. Everybody should have had a handout, right? There's one page, Confidence Hot Chocolate. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll do that. I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you how to make the recipe, and as I talk to you about the ingredients, I'm going to let you know the emotional component of each ingredient and what that impact is within your body, so that you understand what that's doing. So, for instance, we're going to talk about milk, and specifically what I prefer is raw milk. Again, you want to get it from a reputable source, a reputable farm, and a place that does testing if you're going to be using raw milk, because most milk that you buy is going to be homogenized as well as pasteurized, and those two processes change the milk, and therefore they change the emotional impact that the milk is having on you. So for today's, what I want you to know is I'm going to be using raw milk to make this, and we're going to be heating it up. Okay, so you might not have raw milk available to you, and we'll talk, you could use other types of milk in process of that. I also use whole milk because you really want the butter fat that's in the milk. That is what really, really feeds your soul and soothes the emotions within your body. Fat is an essential process, especially in a dairy product, in soothing your heart, okay? This might be a little controversial to what you've been taught in terms of thinking about cholesterol, but the cholesterol builds up from the emotional stress. So what we're looking at is the benefits of the butter fat. So on here, now I'm going to be making a larger quantity than what's on here, but I'll reference your things here. So we've already got some actual milk already in there, so I'm just going to be adding actually 1 more cup of raw milk to the batch. So again, milk is about nurturing and sustaining yourself. Specifically, raw milk helps the most to do that. The next thing we're going to put in it is dark chocolate, okay? So in your dark chocolate, the aspect of what chocolate does is chocolate says, I believe in you. So immediately upon putting chocolate into your system, you're putting this into your system, the aspect of I believe in you. Now what I did is I'm using the organic fair trade dark chocolate chips you can get at a health food store. What I also like to do is I've gotten a really nice dark chocolate bar because I like it really dark. I think that the layers of that give you more health benefits, and some people would be really particular and they'd cut it up with a chopping block, but that's not how I do it. Just make sure I washed my hands before doing this, so when you cook, wash your hands first really well. So you just break those up and put that in there. It gives a little bit, having the different levels of chocolate gives different types of flavor. But the other aspect is dark chocolate has the strongest resonance of I believe in you. It's the most rich in antioxidants, but it carries the strongest resonance of I believe in you. So when you milk chocolate, even though it's going to have the milk in it, it changes it and it does not act as deeply in the body to give you the resonance that you're seeking. Okay? So to help you understand that aspect. The next thing I'm going to put in here is xylitol, which is a natural sweetener. It looks like this. It looks white. Yeah, you can see it like the thing. Like white sugar. Now here's what I want to talk to you for a second about xylitol. This is a particular one that it's a particular brand. There may be other brands. This is just one that I know for a fact is actually made from birch bark. Okay, there's a big difference. Much of the xylitol that is on the market is made from corn husk or corn cobs. They can use different parts to produce the xylitol. That is not the same resonance. Corn is the resonance. It helps to feed fattening up. Corn is what you use if you were to, like in the Indians, were used it in the settling, in this country when you have hardship and very difficult winters and a very difficult time, and the body is trying to survive hardship, and you need corn to fatten you up, right? It's not really what we run into in our culture today. So corn is not going to be a beneficial thing in terms of the emotional aspect for you, the same way that if you get it made from birch. What I want you to understand is what birch xylitol specifically is and why that would be in this recipe. Birch is about peeling away old layers. If you think about the bark on a birch tree and how it very gently comes off, it's just a natural process. So what this does when you're using that in your recipe, in this particular recipe or in any recipe, what the xylitol made from birch specifically does is assist your body through the transition process by naturally shedding old layers, old patterns, old processes as your body is ready. It doesn't force it. It doesn't push you too hard. It just gently lets you slough off those old patterns. It actually, some of the benefits of xylitol is it does help in terms of reducing dental decay, in terms of studies they've shown. It does not affect blood sugar in the same way that other sugars do, but it looks and tastes, if you were to see it in the can, you guys could look at it on the break, it looks and tastes just like regular sugar. So you specifically want to look for birch. Look on the label and see if they're labeling it as such. A lot of them don't label it, or they'll say other things. I really specifically, in terms of what we're looking for, the emotional component, you want xylitol that's made from birch. Okay, in addition, then I'm going to add some vanilla extract. And vanilla is life is good. Okay, it emotionally acts as an antidepressant. So by putting it in there, you're boosting your confidence, but you're also helping to counteract the aspects that go with any type of transition, which is depression. Depression is a very natural part of transition. It is where you're digging deep within to route out that which doesn't work anymore, so you can heal and cleanse that from your body. So depression naturally goes with transition, or feeling sad can naturally go with transition, so we're wanting to help counteract that. So vanilla says life is good. Helps you to relax, helps you to celebrate, helps you to enjoy the process. So in adding that, that's going to help that and also act as an antidepressant in those ways. Then the next thing that we want to do is I add a little bit different order than you have. We've got the, I want to put 2 of these in here. We talk about putting in my confidence supplement, specifically because we're wanting to boost confidence. And what I do is I just put a whole dropper full in. If you wanted to count it out, you could. But it's just easier to me just to do the dropper. And what you're going to say is you'll discover I'm not really very particular. Like I don't even list, I think we say the dark chocolate chips. We didn't even list the dark chocolate bar on here. So you'll see this is kind of how I cook. I have a guideline, and then I kind of just adapt it, which is what I also want for you to be able to do, to find what's the best match for you. You might want a little more xylitol, might want a little less xylitol. You might not like nutmeg in yours. I'm going to talk about nutmeg in a second. So make it the way you like it, but if you understand the emotional component of each part you're using, even if you use the smallest amount, you get the resonance of it. So you get the beneficial impact on your emotions in terms of the foods that you're eating and how they're impacting your moods. So you begin to eat to make yourself happier, right? Isn't it nice to know what you're putting in your system and that all those things will be supporting your emotions? It's a whole new aspect of comfort food. It's truly comfort food to encourage emotional balance within you. So because we've also been through a lot of challenges, this whole group in this past month, I'm also going to add a squirt of comfort to this. It's again not on the sheet. It's up to you if you want to add it. I'll put both of them in there because what the comfort does is help just to come around the heart and just to support you that much more through your challenge, to just ease it just that much more for you to kind of, that whole I'm here for you energy. So you get the combination of that. And then we're going to add cinnamon and nutmeg, and I've got those already measured out. So the cinnamon and the nutmeg add 2 different things. Cinnamon is warm heart. Okay, it comes from the bark, so it has a strength to it, but it's a warmth of the heart, a warmth of home. Many times when you think of cinnamon, it would bring you into your kitchen, right? You think of your mom's kitchen, your grandmother's kitchen, or somewhere where you went somewhere that just felt very nurturing, even bakeries or just cinnamon cookies. The smell that comes off when you cook cinnamon is different than anything else, and the way that it just brings back the warmth to the heart. So when we're going through transition, one of the greatest challenging things that we face is staying in our hearts, because we get scared, so we pop out into our minds. We start thinking and analyzing everything, or we start reacting and acting in a different way. Whereas when you have the cinnamon in there, what it does, it helps to bring you into your heart so they go through the transition with much more grace. And I think we all want a little more grace when we handle, because a lot of times we can go through transition and maybe egg on your face would be a different expression. So